What no one will tell you about Dallas Cowboys. We're gonna be going through that in today's video and 5 other stories. So make sure to like this video, and if you want more Dallas Cowboys content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel hitting that red button down below. The first story is what no one will tell you, and that is that the Dallas Cowboys currently have the highest point differential across the entire NFL. There is no perfect metric to evaluate NFL teams against one another. Even wins do not tell an entire story all by themselves. There are certainly valuable ways of looking at one football team against another in the hopes of drawing as objective conclusions as we possibly can. 2 personal favorite metrics are DVOA and point differential. DVOA stands for defense adjusted value over average, although we use the same letters to refer to defensive rankings, which are adjusted to take into account the quality of offensive opponents. We are 1 game away from tying a bow on Week 13, and at present time the Cowboys are the number 2 team in overall team DVOA, trailing only the Buffalo Bills. The Cowboys and Eagles have been flip-flopping between spots 2 and 4 in terms of DVOA over the last few weeks, but that makes sense. DVOA is wonderful, but there are generally not seismic movements from one week to another because of how it is calculated. It is rare, but there can be seismic shifts in point differential, which is where we are at right now. All told, the Cowboys scored 54 points against the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday night, and an amazing 33 of them came in the 4th quarter. This massive influx added to a statistic like point differential, as did the team's 37-point win over the Minnesota Vikings 2 weeks ago. Still, though, points are points, and the Cowboys have been scoring a lot of them as of late. Consider that over their last 3 games they have more offensive touchdowns than the Denver Broncos do all season. The Cowboys have been hovering near the top of point differential for a bit now, and the team at the very top of it in the Buffalo Bills. While Dallas still trails Buffalo in overall team DVOA, they have now passed them in point differential and are currently at the very top of the NFL. You will recall that the Cowboys lost by 16 points in the season opener against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which was not a lot of fun. The 5 games following that were all quarterbacked by Cooper Rush, and they finished with a point differential of plus 28, which is highly impressive considering they were not at full strength. But the Cowboys have completely exploded over the last few weeks, which is why they are where they are. In the 6 games since Dak Prescott has returned, the Cowboys have a point differential of plus 115, which is absolutely bonkers. Dallas is having success in every phases of the game, as evidenced by their DVOA rankings. The Super Bowl is not won in the early days of December, but they are rounding into form as the most important part of the year approaches. The second story is Odell Beckham Jr. On signing with Dallas Cowboys, it's a good possibility. Now that the New York Giants and Buffalo Bills have had their chances to visit with Odell Beckham Jr., it's the Dallas Cowboys' turn. As expected, Jerry Jones and co. are putting the full court press on signing the top NFL free agent available heading into Week 14. It all began on Monday morning, just hours after demolishing the Indianapolis Colts in a 35-point beatdown, when Beckham began his visit to Fort Worth. Ever since, we've heard very little coming out of Jerry World, until day turned to night. Suddenly, a video emerged of Beckham traveling with Cowboys defensive stars Micah Parsons and Trevon Diggs to Monday night's NBA primetime matchup between the Phoenix Suns and Dallas Mavericks at American Airlines Center. It didn't take long for reporters to get into OBJ's face, where they of course asked the pressing questions we all want to know. Specifically, Beckham was asked what the Cowboys' chances are of signing the 30-year-old Griddy out. That's when the Super Bowl winning playmaker couldn't help but hide his feelings. Beckham responded with, "It's a good possibility," with him smiling from cheek to cheek. Perhaps it's nothing, maybe it's everything. For now, all signs appear to point to Dak Prescott throwing passes to Beckham Jr. in a Cowboys uniform any week now. He hasn't been working out for teams, so it's possible he still needs some time to get back to 100% following his ACL surgery. It will also be a process learning offensive coordinator Kellen Moore's scheme, but it shouldn't take long for Beckham to win over fans of America's team. That is, unless the Bills or Giants still come through with a last-minute offer that's too good to refuse. As far as we know, Beckham hasn't signed on the dotted line just yet. The third story is Stephen A. Smith reasons why Cowboys have serious confidence issues despite thumping win over Colts. The Dallas Cowboys are coming off one of their strongest wins of the year across the entire NFL. However, while fans are losing their minds on both sides of the game, Stephen A. Smith remains confident that the team still has demons lurking beneath the surface. Speaking on First Take, the sports analyst engaged in a heated discussion with Michael Irvin about the contest. The analyst linked the desire to sign Odell Beckham Jr. with a quiet quiet lack of confidence that the team isn't good enough as it is. This despite their blowout victory on Sunday Night Football. Here's how he put it. You look at the Cowboys, you still clamoring for Odell Beckham Jr., still ready to take him out to dinner. You're ready to court him. Why do you do that? Because deep in your mind you know you don't have enough. After a long day of surprising games, the last game featured an AFC-NFC showdown between Dak Prescott and Matt Ryan. Through 3 quarters, the game was locked at 21-19 and was a surprisingly tight contest. However, just as the Colts tightened the score, the team imploded. In one of the most dominant fourth quarters in NFL history, Dallas jumped from 21 points to 54 points. The Colts repeatedly turned the ball over and simply got overpowered. Despite a tight game through 3 quarters, the Cowboys starters didn't finish the game. Matt Ryan threw for 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, and the Colts fumbled twice. Once the Cowboys got the ball, their offense could not be stopped. Prescott only needed to throw for 190 yards in the game, although he ended drives with touchdowns through the air often enough. In total, he threw for 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. Stephen A. Smith's claims hold substance considering the tight first 3 quarters. However, a sound counter-argument can certainly be made based on the fourth quarter alone. The fourth story is the Cowboys nearly made history destroying the Colts. In their 54-19 rout of the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday Night Football, the Dallas Cowboys were a mere touchdown away from making franchise history. In their history, the Cowboys have scored 59 points in 2 separate games and have scored 56 points in 2 other games as well. Sunday's win marked their 3rd best point total in franchise history. Beyond their franchise history, the Cowboys boast the 2 highest scoring games in the NFL this season. They put up 49 points against the Chicago Bears earlier this year, en route to a 49-29 victory. After running up the point total against the Colts on Sunday night, the Cowboys have sent a message to the entire league. They're in it to win it this season. The 5th story is Cowboys cornerback Anthony Brown out for rest of season. Dallas Cowboys starting cornerback Anthony Brown ruptured his Achilles in Sunday's game and is out for the rest of the season. Brown, 28, was injured in the 3rd quarter of the Cowboys' 54-19 win over the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday night. The 7-year veteran had 3 tackles and 1 pass defense before exiting. On the good news front, 8-time Pro Bowl offensive tackle Tyron Smith will return to practice this week. Brown, who started all 12 games for Dallas this season, had 42 tackles and 7 passes defensed. He has 9 career interceptions in 94 games, all for the Cowboys. "I'm sick for him," owner and general manager Jerry Jones said Sunday after the game. "He's had an outstanding career. Boy, he's brought it up by the bootstrap. And he, to me, is what a young player working hard, really having the right stuff, can become who's not a number 1 draft pick. I'm sick for him and sick for us." The Cowboys selected Brown in the 6th round of the 2016 draft. Smith suffered an avulsion fracture of his left knee, the hamstring tendon behind the knee separated from the bone, in August and required surgery. The team originally hoped to have him back by Thanksgiving. Smith, 31, is a 2-time All-Pro. In 11 seasons with the Cowboys, he has started all 144 games he has played. Neck surgery cost him all but 2 games in 2020, and ankle injuries and time on the COVID list limited him to 11 games last year.